7 Coronation Street Spoilers for next week 5th to 9th May. Next week on Coronation Street. Eileen struggles as Julie passes away. Theo's daughter objectives Todd. Dee-Dee admits she's bonding together along with her baby. And Kid is haunted via way of means of his beyond. 1. Eileen is devastated as Julie passes away. In some brief weeks, Julie's ache has been turning into more and more hard for her to manage with. Main Brian to organize a wheelchair for her to transport approximately in. Next week, Julie takes a second to file a video on her phone, reflecting at the subject matter of love. Meanwhile, George is busy establishing a romantic nighttime to reveal Eileen how a good deal she mannered to him. However, his plans do not move down well. Eileen's short to factor out he became clearly intended to be taking her and Julie on an afternoon ride to the lake, which he has forgotten all approximately. Determined to preserve the day on track, Eileen books a cab and the sisters head off together. At the lakeside, they pause to take with inside the non-violent surroundings. Julie is specifically reflective, as she stalks that there may be nowhere else she'd as an alternative be. When George later returns to number 11, he comes throughout one in all Julie's videos, in which she encourages Eileen to rethink her destiny with him and possibly name time on their relationship. Back on the lakeside, Julie sends Eileen off for refreshments. But while she returns, she's met with a devastating sight. Julie mendacity nonetheless. Her eyes closed. Panic units in as Eileen rushes to test for symptoms of life. However, it is too late. Julie has long gone. Later with Inside the Week, as Eileen struggles to return back to phrases with Julie's passing, George is preoccupied with the effect of Julie's remaining phrases to Eileen and what it manner for his or her destiny. His worries most effective upload to Eileen's frustration in her time of grief. Will Eileen take heed of her loved sister's very last piece of advice? 2. Millie objectives Todd. Things take any other flip while Theo's daughter, Millie, confronts Todd and Theo on the undertakers. As she needs solutions from her dad, Todd is visibly uncomfortable. Later with Inside the Week, after listening to an automobile alarm outdoor the undertakers, Todd is taken aback to locate the hearse protected in paint and discovers that Millie is responsible. As she accuses Todd of tearing her own circle of relatives apart, Theo steps in to shield her, including gas to the already aggravating situation. 3. Is Dee-Dee having second thoughts? Dee-Dee's worst fears appearance as 11, though they are approximately to be realized 11 though. As she opens as much as Eileen and admits that she's afraid of having too near and risking heartbreak. Eileen lightly tells her that on occasion it is quality to observe her heart. Later that day, Ronnie is touched while he sees Dee-Dee letting her defend down and cooing over Layla. Dee-Dee in the end turns to Aaliyah and admits that she's commenced to experience an actual bond forming together along with her baby. Aaliyah listens thoughtfully earlier than encouraging her to rethink her authentic plan. Positive that James could be capable of forgive her in time if Dee-Dee modified her thoughts approximately giving up Layla. 4. Is Bobby Lauren's blackmailer? Lauren tells Bobby the threatening messages appear to have stopped. However, she's now no longer satisfied the individual at the back of them is finished. And is as a substitute mendacity low. Later with Inside the Week, Bobby gives to assist Lauren test out a few condo listings for flats. However, she insists she will be able to control on her own. When she realizes simply how steep the fees are, Lauren admits she wishes to locate paintings and fast. Audie steps in, presenting to install an excellent phrase at Freshco. But simply as she begins off evolved to assume matters are settling. Any other message arrives this time with a call for £500, alongside a hazard to visit the police if she would not pay up. Rattled, Lauren confides in Betsy, sharing her developing suspicion that Bobby should clearly be the only at the back of the messages, doing it as a manner to live near her. Determined to discover the truth, Lauren hatches a plan, heading to the assembly factor on the precinct. She plant life a few decoy cash, and she or he and Betsy lie in wait to look who turns up. Could Bobby truly be the only at the back of it all? 5. Kit's Beyond comes returned to hang out him. although Mick and spouse Lou had been residing on Maudsley Street for a while now. And Feature grow to be closely worried with Kit's sister Gemma. The two have now no longer but crossed paths. But it is clean that Kit is covering his unease as he hears Mick's name. And while he later enters the interview room, Mick appears amused to look him. Struggling to preserve his composure, Kit skims over the info and suddenly ends the interview, liberating Mick without charge. But the come-across would not stop there. Outside the interview room, Mick corners Kit with an understanding appearance, and tells him that they want to talk. Does Mick have something on Kit? 6. Jenny struggles. At the Rovers, Jenny is suffering inside the aftermath of Daisy's dramatic go-out betrayal that left her £60 out of pocket. After Daisy made off with the cash Jenny had earmarked to assist purchase the pub. Confiding in Rita, Jenny displays on how everything's fallen apart. But Rita isn't always having any of it, lightly pushing her to transport forward. She reminds Jenny that at the same time as matters have not long gone to plan, there may be nonetheless a destiny available and she or he need to make the maximum of it at the same time as she's in desirable health. Later inside the week, with possession of the Rovers now formally in Carla's hands, Ryan breaks the information that he is now no longer answering to Jenny. The truth hits hard, underlining simply how a good deal Jenny's lost. Meanwhile, Glenda gives a pair of prospective buyers a tour of the pub. But her lukewarm sales pitch doesn't go unnoticed, with Ryan left wondering if she's deliberately trying to put people off. 7. Mick pranks Liam. Also next week, Mick makes his mark elsewhere as he begins work at the builder's yard, which has just been taken over by Gary. Teens Liam and Jake also join Gary for a day of work experience at the yard. And Mick can't resist winding Liam up with some typical workplace pranks. As Mick instructs Liam to pick up a large sack, Liam ends up covered in dry cement. Liam puts on a brave face and laughs it off, determined to fit in with the rest of the crew. Gary later convinces Maria to join him for a drink with Mick. But will the pair come to regret having Mick working at the yard as he targets their son? Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more movie spoilers next week. Goodbye and see you again.